The U.S. pulled its remaining troops out of Afghanistan this week, formally ending America's longest war. Their departure also marked an end to emergency evacuation efforts, at least those efforts by air. More than 100,000 people were airlifted from the capital, but thousands more, including many who want to come to Canada, remain stranded. Crossing into neighboring countries like Pakistan appears to be their best, if only, option.
We are going to be talking with Pakistan to tell them that if anybody does arrive at that border or other neighboring countries, we would like them to facilitate their entry. And of course, our embassies and consulates are waiting to process them to get them onto Canada.
So that call between Minister Garneau and the Pakistani foreign minister has now happened, and we'd like to know what Pakistan is prepared to do. Ameer Khurram Rathore is Pakistan's High Commissioner Designate to Canada. He is in Ottawa. High Commissioner Designate, welcome to the program. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation, sir.
I am speaking to you, of course, at a time that many Afghans are seeking to leave their country, seeking to come to others, including Afghans who work for Canadian organizations and might be able to get a visa to Canada. What efforts is Pakistan willing to make in terms of helping those people exit? So in particular, if they can make it overland to one of your borders, would your authorities be able to rapidly facilitate the entry of those Afghans into Pakistan and then onwards to countries like Canada?
Yes. Let me give you a brief background. We have so far operated, the Pakistan International Airline has so far operated 332 special flights from Kabul to Islamabad. We have evacuated around 10,000 people who are various nationalities, NGOs, international organizations. And the data that I have is specifically for the Canadian civilians, through land border, we have so far accepted 9 Canadians, and through air, 24 have been evacuated. So this is the situation so far. We, the government of Pakistan, seizing of the situation, created what we call a ministerial cell, which is the focal point for facilitating all evacuations from Kabul. Pakistan Embassy in Kabul is providing 24 hours consular service. We are issuing more than 1,000 visas per day. These are for the people who want to travel to Pakistan via land route.
Okay, so let me pick up on that just for a moment, High Commissioner, only because, as you well know, the lineups to just get to your mission in Kabul are very, very long, very difficult to get in, and many Afghans who might be eligible to come to Canada, for instance, are finding it very, very difficult to sort of get the permission to be able to exit. So if there are people who have the paperwork from Canada saying that they can come to Canada, what would happen to them? Can they very rapidly get a visa at a border point? How can you expedite the facilitation of their travel?
So far, the visa facility available in Kabul is specifically for the land route people who want to come to Pakistan through land. There has not been a system established yet whereby people could enter through land border into Pakistan without a visa. But we have extended this facility through to the people who are coming through air. They can get the visa upon arrival into Pakistan. But we are working on a system. Today, you must be knowing, the Canadian Foreign Minister had a very productive conversation with the Pakistani Foreign Minister, focusing on these issues. And I'm very hopeful that we will come up with a system to facilitate the Canadians and the people who want to come to Canada for their evacuation.
Okay, and I'm certain between our two countries' foreign ministers, those conversations are likely to continue. But I did want to talk about Afghanistan itself, because there'll be far more people who will be staying in that country than those who are leaving. And they're staying in a country that will very clearly be run by the Taliban. It is a group that has found, according to many analysts, sanctuary in Pakistan, particularly in some of the tribal, some of the border areas in the past. There have been many analysts and many reports suggesting that Pakistan's intelligence services have had had connections, have supported the Taliban in years past, going back from its near destruction post 9/11 really up to today. I wonder how you respond to some of the concerns that Pakistan, if not, helped orchestrate the situation that we now find ourselves in, but at least did not attempt to stop it. How do you respond to those kinds of concerns?
Well, I think that is a lot of misinformation and a narrative which has been built up to corner Pakistan. The matter of the fact is that the previous Afghan government had a military and air force which was 300,000 strong. And as for the sanctuaries, you are well aware, Taliban, there was never a time in Afghanistan where Taliban did not hold a substantial portion of the country. So it makes no sense to me that if Taliban has land, has
okay,
their,
but sir, I mean, we saw over a number of decades, we saw Taliban fighters who would, conduct attacks in southern Afghanistan and would retreat back over the border and then would come back over the mountains. And there was a constant back and forth. Osama bin Laden was found in your country. There were multiple instances of Western intelligence agencies being concerned about what Pakistan's intelligence services in particular were doing related to the Taliban. I just wonder, this is your neighboring country now. So what is the relationship likely to be between these two countries, one in which the Taliban runs it, a group that has at the very least connections inside Pakistan?
Okay, two points in this regard. This is precisely the reason, that is why Pakistan erected a fence between Afghanistan and Pakistan. It is not a small border, 2,680 kilometers long. So that we built that fence just to counter such propaganda that there's a free flow of movement of terrorists between Pakistan.
Sorry, you built a fence to counter propaganda? Is that what you're saying?
To the propaganda about the movement, that Talibans are coming and going from Pakistan to Afghanistan. That's not the right thing, and that's why we built this fence and we made certain border crossings to avoid any such eventuality that the people could pass freely between Pakistan and Afghanistan. That I think is and the second most important thing, and you must be very well aware of that, that this is a different Taliban. There has been a generational shift. The original Taliban, of which we talk a lot, were the people who were raised in the refugee camps in Pakistan. But these Taliban, they are homegrown. They have been living in Afghanistan. So the links, I fail to understand. We have a substantial number of Pashtun population in Pakistan, and Talibans are primarily Pashtun. So there are lots of linkages between this ethnic group. But blaming the government of Pakistan for the failure of the international coalition in Afghanistan, I think it is carrying it a bit too far.
You say, sir, that it's a different Taliban. I'm curious to get your thoughts on that, because when the Taliban first came to power in 1991, they said it will be gentle, it will be kind, don't worry. And then when the world's attention sort of turned away, things got fairly brutal and stayed that way for quite some time. So what confidence should we have that what the Taliban is saying now, and they're knocking on people's doors, people who worked for Western organizations, there have been reports of extrajudicial killings already. What confidence should we have that this is indeed a different Taliban?
That is precisely the reason. What we are suggesting to the world, to the international community, is that we have to remain engaged with the Taliban. That is the only leverage we would have. Taliban, they are saying okay things right now, but we are also waiting. Let's wait and see how they act. But one thing Pakistan is very certain about is that what we would want to see for peace in Afghanistan is an inclusive government, a government which is created through a consultative process which should include all the ethnic groups and the people of different shades of opinion, and only such a government, such a government in Afghanistan would be able to bring peace. And on the other hand, the same point from another angle, international community has spent a lot, invested a lot in the people of Afghanistan, for the women, for education, a host of things.
Canada to the tune of $15-16 billion. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The only way to preserve that investment is to engage with Taliban. If we do not engage with them, the recognition by the international community is the leverage that needs to be taken at this point in time. And for us, yes.
Absolutely. Mr. High Commissioner Designate, I know you have a long diplomatic career behind you. You're just beginning your time. You're posting to Canada. So we certainly thank you for your time and hope to have you back on the program again soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.